Yo, check it out, I gotta speak the truth about the hardest working small channel in the crypto.
Welcome back to the Crypto Father channel. I am the Crypto Father. Today is the 7th of August. It's a Wednesday, midweek news. The big question on everybody's mind is, has the bleeding stopped? Are Bitcoin and other altcoins going to perform better than they have been over the past couple of days? Is the dump finally finished? In today's video, I'm going to go over that a little bit, and so please make sure to smash up the likes on this video, subscribe to the channel, share the channel with everybody else who you think might benefit from this information, because YouTube is not doing its job. It's standing against a small channel like myself and only pushes the content of bigger channels, so make sure to let the algorithm know that this channel matters. Let's go. So looking at the crypto market, the cap is going up. We were at $1.9 trillion yesterday. It's back up to $2.08 trillion today, which is good. The trading volume has dropped, and that's most likely because of a slowdown and a sell-off of most of the crypto coins and tokens. Bitcoin's back up at 56 from its very low of $49,000. Ethereum struggling still at $2,400, $2,400. BNB still below 500, Solana at 146. Solana's shooting up quite fast. Toncoin at $5.78. That was a massive dump on Toncoin. If you were at $7 and you were holding it for a long time, I never looked at the Toncoin chart, but man oh man, should have sold it there. Cardano 33 cents. Tron at 12 cents, not like that really matters. Polkadot at $4.51 and Litecoin at 58 cents. Litecoin still in the red. Leo token is doing pretty well, and DAI also in the green. But for the most part, everything is still red, despite the fact that 24 hours are looking green. Overall, on the 7-day, it's all very red. So what do you guys think? Is this a bear trap? Are we going to recover? Is this a recovery mode, or are we in a bear trap? A lot of channels are talking about this being it. We're back on track, and there's also talk of this being a bear trap. So it's hard to tell. And the fact of the matter is that nobody really knows. But you got to look at the facts. You have to look at what is happening. So the most important thing, the main reason for why the whole market is dumping is because of Japan's raise in their interest rates. So Japan has had a very low interest rate, close to zero interest rates for the past 40 years, which allowed people in Japan to take loans out at essentially no cost to them at all and make investments with the loans in order to generate revenue, which basically meant in many cases free money. Well, that came to an end when Japan raised its rates for the first time in almost 40 years to about 0.25%, which meant that a lot of traders were now selling their assets in order to cover those expenses, in order to cover those interest rates. This is what caused the downturn. So the essentials for Bitcoin have not changed. The fundamentals for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency assets have not changed, but because of the change that Japan has implemented, the Bank of Japan have changed tremendously, and this is what caused the downturn. So that hasn't changed yet. The Bank of Japan has not all of a sudden decided that they're switching this back up to zero. So these rate increases still stand. That hasn't changed, and yet Bitcoin is going back up. The second thing is the war in the Middle East, the potential war in the Middle East. Things are heating up. Middle East braces for a week that could determine the course of the Gaza war. Articles are circulating suggesting that Iran is planning to attack Israel. Why is Iran expected to attack Israel? What to know about the crisis? Iran has vowed to retaliate for the killing of a senior Hamas leader in Tehran last week, an attack for which it has blamed Israel. This also adds to the overall geopolitical situation, the pressure, and this is another reason for why the markets are tanking. It's not just crypto that was tanking, but the markets overall. Warren Buffett has sold a massive massive cut of his holdings in Apple. I think it was something like half, $277 billion in assets. Nvidia stocks have seen some retracement because Nvidia wasn't able to deliver on its promises to release the most recent chip that they promised, and so the markets are in a bit of a turmoil. And then the third thing is that the Fed in the USA is poised to keep the rates as they are. Leading economists are calling for emergency rate cuts in the USA, and it looks like the Fed is very unlikely to do so. The Fed is unlikely to implement an emergency rate cut, strategists say. So despite the fact that the yen is growing stronger against the US dollar, which also further fuels the selling of the US dollar and rebuying of the yen, which is another reason for why the markets are tanking, the Fed decided that they're not going to implement any rate cuts for now because they don't see it as a necessity. So these three things essentially are the reasons for why the markets are tanking, and that's why there's so much blood on the streets. And nothing has changed. All of this came to pass just yesterday or 2 days ago, and none of it has changed. So why are we seeing green markets all of a sudden? When you look at the 24-hour charts on CoinGecko, of course, you see everything, most of it, except for Tether, I guess the stable coins, most of it is in the green. So why are we seeing recovery all of a sudden? So let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin on the daily, these are my charts from yesterday. On the daily, we are seeing a nice recovery candle right here. So Bitcoin dunked all the way down to 49,000 and then retraced back up. And it retraced back up above the trend line that is highlighting the trend that Bitcoin was following over the past since March. Essentially, it dropped to 49,000 and then recovered back up to this trend line and created a green candle. And right now we're 2.5 hours away from this green candle closing up, and hopefully it will close up here, because this will indicate that we should be remaining above the $56,000 level. And if that's the case, then I could see, as I was talking about it yesterday, I could see Bitcoin going back up to match the level of the channel. Forgive me this skewed line here, to match the level of the channel and follow the channel. So we could see a rebound here and then quite possibly another drop down. And since the channel follows the same trend line, this was one of a kind. I think this was market manipulation, quite possibly, to get it dunked like this. So we could see another move back up and then another move back down, quite possibly, maybe to reach this support line from the month of February of 2004. There's a lot of support around these areas, so it's quite possible that Bitcoin might come back up. There's a lot of support from the previous bull run. So this one right here, this is the support from, or this was the resistance back in 2021, which occurred right before the massive, the all-time high, and right after the all-time high. So this resistance was tested twice before the market, Bitcoin broke through it, and then dropped below it, and then tested it again. And so this is the resistance that we're seeing right here. That's what Bitcoin is kind of bouncing off of right now. The yellow line, the resistance right here, kind of coincides with the support that is from February 24th, which was a resistance back then, and Bitcoin broke above that and managed to maintain its position above that. So this area right here may be of importance. This may be the area where Bitcoin may or may not, I guess, will or make or break it, kind of resistance area. So this area here is basically that can make or break Bitcoin. I think that this is the area, because it is a resistance, and both lines represent a resistance, one from the 2021 bull run and one from right now, from this bull run around. And so if Bitcoin can hold this area, then we should be okay. And it looks right now like Bitcoin is actually making it happen. So hopefully it stays above this area. On the daily, Bitcoin also broke down below the 200 EMA, which is not a good thing. and it kind of became nullified. But on the weekly charts, Bitcoin is still way above the 200 EMA. And again, on the weekly, the week candle is basically just broke below the trend line. The trend channel bounced off of this support that I mentioned earlier, and hopefully is forming now a green candle on the daily. And hopefully this candle, we've got another 5 days to go. It's only Wednesday, guys, so another 5 days to go, and hopefully this candle will remain above this level, turn this into support, and we'll see Bitcoin go no further than that. These two lines cross here, this support line right here, or the trend line rather, and this resistance and support. So hopefully, I guess when we see to this area right here, we'll see whether Bitcoin is going to hold it, or if it breaks. If it does break below this support here, then I think we could see another drop down, a solid drop down. If Bitcoin closes a candle below this support, then we could probably see more downside to 48, or even to 48. Although there are some other support lines here at 50,000. So right now the $50,000 is the support line that is supposed to be holding the final frontier. And I don't think it's going to go below $50,000, because even the people who are manipulating it realize that there's a limit to how low you can go. I mean, if Bitcoin were to drop below $45,000, even to $40,000, I think that would just be too ridiculous. Like, they need to keep the prices at a level that looks enticing, but not too enticing. So I think a 50,000 Bitcoin leaves a lot of uncertainty on, which way Bitcoin's going to go, which way the markets are going to go, and this is where it's going to remain. I don't think it's going to go lower than $50,000. Yes, other than this wick here, which was a freak wick, and I think this is, again, so I heard somebody say this is market manipulation, and I do agree, because wicks like that don't, this is like a massive drop. It's a huge candle. This zone here of all these green candles has been recovered. There are more green candles here, so I guess you could argue that Bitcoin could potentially go down to this area here of $42,000. But I mean, if you wanted to speculate that, then you could say that Bitcoin could go down to $30,000. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is the max pain here at around $50,000. This is the max pain, and I presume that Bitcoin is going to, if it manages to stay above this red zone here of $43,000, and within above these trend lines here, above these support lines here, then we should be okay. Let's see what happens after this daily candle closes in green. It looks like it will close in green, and then hopefully we will see a rebound back up to the upper area of the Bollinger Bands, as well as the channel that's being produced right now. I wanted to give you a shout out to Trader's Reality. I've been following his channel for a while now, and I find him to be a very specific, very meticulous, and very well phrased trader individual. He has a pretty solid grasp of the macroeconomics and the political situation and why things happen the way they are, and he does pretty good technical analysis. So if you are really keen on getting some exposure to TA, I would recommend checking him out, Trader's Reality, because he does a really good job, and his videos are very educational, and all that good stuff. So check that guy out, because it's definitely worth it. And while you're at it, please don't forget to hit that join button on the Crypto Father channel, become a Crypto Cat or Crypto Kitten, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to pick up a Tangem wallet, because you can get a 10% discount on your purchase with the Crypto Father promo code. So get that sucker right now. Check out my video review of the Tangem wallet. with a walkthrough on how to set it up. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the content with everybody else, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Peace.